Yo, what is up, guys? Draco Sean here, back with another One Piece video. So this is chapter 1040. Now, the chapter. So we've got a break next week apparently, so that's cool to know. But anyway, we'll talk about this chapter because that's what we're here for. So, and also, by the way, I decided to read the English translation. That's why I haven't made the video just yet. But I'm gonna talk about this chapter because I have a lot to say. So 1040. Now I'm gonna list the positives first because I'm not happy. I'm gonna butter everyone up nicely because honestly, like, I'm just not a fan of this chapter. But I'll say the positives about this chapter. So one thing I did like was Big Mom's internal dialogue. I think that was cool. So she was talking about Roger in a very interesting way because we don't know too much about the relationship, the dynamic between Roger and Big Mom. We know that Roger did go to Whole Cake Island at one point, and he took Big Mom's road poneglyph, or took the rubbing of that poneglyph, and Big Mom was also really mad, obviously. So, that's something interesting to note. But it's cool that Big Mom is, because the way Big Mom was talking about Roger in this chapter, as if she really does like view Roger as a superior figure to her. And I think that makes sense because we know that Roger was a rival to Big Mom's captain, Rocks. So that has a lot of merit to it, obviously. And obviously Roger was the Pirate King. So, and even when Big Mom was talking to Luffy on the roof saying that, do you know what it means to be the Pirate King? So I think you can clearly tell there's a lot of respect between Big Mom and Roger, for example. And we know Big Mom respects powerful figures. Like, she even looks up to Whitebeard as well. Like, even when she was referring to like when talking to Nami and she was mentioning, like, I could have been Kaido, I would have been Shanks, and even Whitebeard. So she even views Whitebeard as a superior figure. So, like, again, Big Mom has a lot of respect for those kind of individuals, and I like that we're seeing that as well. So that was cool. I also did like that that it kind of implies that there's something special about Wano, because Big Mom says that does this country hold a lot of secrets. So I think that's cool. And also, Big Mom was also from the same era as Roger because she's like Kaido and Shanks are like new generation Yonko, but Big Mom has been an emperor for a while actually. Like, along with Shiki and Whitebeard and Roger at the time, those are the main strongest pirates at the time of that era. So it makes sense why she views Roger in that certain way. So very interesting to know. So that was cool. Another cool thing, another information, some more lore, some more information, was that we found out that Zunisha was Joy Boy's companion. That's interesting. I don't know what that means. Well, I think this to me is interesting because my theory has always been that Emu, well, I think everyone mostly agrees with this, that Emu was born during the Void's entry and he was probably Joy Boy's enemy, like ancient enemy at the time. And maybe he's the one who killed, maybe he killed the original Joy Boy, who knows. And I think that would be an interesting way to hype up Emu, because especially if Emu is going to be the final villain of One Piece, because we weren't sure who the final villain was, but because we had Blackbeard, we had Akainu, but Emu is now, he's so important at this point that it'll be weird not to include him. And with this, it's interesting because we also, with Zunisha, one thing we've noticed also is that his eye pattern is very similar to Emu's eye pattern. So it could maybe Emu has like I think I've said this before, that Emu could maybe give curses. Maybe he cursed Zunisha to roam the seas. Who knows? But this is interesting. So I think maybe when we get to, eventually, this is going to take a while obviously, but once we get to that Joy Boy flashback and the ancient kingdom and everything we get on that, and the world government and how they rose to power, we're gonna see a lot of powerful figures. Like, we're gonna see Joy Boy, we're gonna see Zunisha, the Kozukis, we're gonna see Toki as well, actually, because Toki was born during the Void Century. So again, there's a lot of interesting information to work with. But yeah, that was cool. I guess this was a cool thing, but I'd still have problems, and that's Law using Corazon's, like, he used an attack based on Corazon, which I think was pretty cool. So yeah, those are the positives. The negatives. Now, I'm just gonna sit here and say this. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I am not a fan of Big Mom losing, flat out. I think, I don't know. It just, for some reason, I'm just not a fan of this. And it's not because I think Kid and Law are weak. I'm not saying that. They're not weaklings, obviously not. But we've seen how strong Emperors are. Like, you need a lot just to overpower them. My problem with Kid and Law is, because, like, even with Law, for example, like, I'm going to get into this maybe in another video, because, again, I want to talk about Wano as an arc, or the Onigashima raid as a whole, I should say, but also the Wano arc as a whole. But that video probably will come out when the arc is finished. But for the Onigashima raid, I do want to give my thoughts on that, because I have a lot to say about it. And with Law, for example, in this chapter, there's a writing inconsistency, because in this chapter, Law does another attack. He uses his room again. And that makes no sense. We know this because Law's room is limited. He can't just spam it out. He can't just keep using it as many times as he wants. We know this because Doflamingo mentioned this in Dressrosa. He couldn't, like, Law couldn't use his room 24/7. It's not the same thing with Luffy's rubber powers. Like, Luffy can use his rubber powers as many times as he wants, but Law has a limit to his ability. And in this chapter, or at the end of last chapter, apparently that was his final attack. But then in this chapter, he does another attack. Like, do you see the problem with this? It doesn't make sense. Listen, I don't care how cool it looks. If it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make sense. We're not gonna sit here and pretend that Law's quote from last chapter has no merit to it. It has meaning because he said it himself. He said, "This is my final attack," and that's it. And I think that would have been smart on Oda's part, because I think if this chapter was focused just on Kid, because I think this is also negative to talk about, but for now, we're talking about Law right now. Law may be doing cool things, but it's not making sense, guys. It's not making sense. He keeps saying, "This is my final attack." He keeps saying, I can't use my awakening as many times as I want. But he's doing it. Do you see my point? Like, it's not making sense. Like, if Oda sat back and just looked at this as a whole, he probably realized as well that I've made a mistake. Because I think he has made a mistake. Because I think in this chapter, Law should have been passed out or something. I don't even know how Law is still standing. It's like Law has eaten a magic bean and he's gained, like, supernatural powers at this point, even beyond his Delphi. Like, it's insane. So yeah, Law, I think that's a problem. Another thing I didn't think about also was what, now this is something that King of Lightning said. Shout out to King of Lightning. Obviously a famous One Piece YouTuber. He pointed this out and I forgot to even think about it as well. In this entire fight with Kid and Law, Big Mom has not used Advanced Conqueror's Haki, which I think is ridiculous. Because we know that's the new trend now. Like, only a select few people have it. We know that Kaido has it. We know Big Mom has it. We know Luffy has it. We know Zoro has it. We know Yamato has it. We know Roger has it. Whitebeard has it. And Odin as well. So those people have it, and those are implied to be the strongest people in the verse, or some of the strongest people in the verse currently. Like, these are characters we would be putting in our top 30. So I don't know. It just feels weird that in this entire fight, while Big Mom's on her limit, she's on her last legs kind of thing, that she hasn't used this. I think is a bit ridiculous. I don't know. I'm just, I don't know. It's another problem, isn't it? It kind of, and it makes it's implied to make Big Mom look weak, and you can't spin it. It makes Big Mom look bad. And in fact, this chapter, even if Big Mom didn't look as bad as you think she would, she still looked bad. She still lost to Kid and Law. That's something we can't deny, because at the end of this chapter, they showed the box, and it says Victor, Kid and Law. I mean, I'm not a fan of it, and I know I'm sounding like I'm hating on this arc. I'm not. Let me phrase that. I do hate this arc, because this arc had so much hype to it. And the problem with this chapter also is, my problem with the Onigashima raid specifically is that it just feels so easy. It feels like nothing bad can happen to Luffy and his alliance, which I find is ridiculous, because they're up against two emperors. Two, not one emperor, two emperors. Even one emperor alone should have been enough, and his entire crew. But then you have Big Mom and Perospero there as well. Like, you got people there as well. Like, it's like, hold on a minute, you gotta think about this. Luffy honestly should not be having an easy time. Everyone is having some easy fights. Like, it just, and this arc just feels so cliche. It just feels like, oh, so Kid and Law beat Big, so Zoro beats King, Sanji beats Queen, Kid and Law beat Big Mom. Who's next? Luffy beats Kaido. Way, guys, we won. Let's go have a banquet. Let's have a good time. Let's get out of Wano. Like, do you see? Like, that should not be happening. And this arc is meant to be comparable to Marineford War. I'm laughing. If people are comparing this arc to Marineford War, get the heck out of my sight. This arc is not even in the same league as Marineford War. It's not even in the same atmosphere. Marineford had me on the edge of my seat because that arc, there was tension. There was tension in that arc. I think I first felt it when Oars was down. And then obviously when Ace dies, and then Whitebeard dies, and then Blackbeard gets 2 Delve Roots, and everyone's going crazy. Luffy's knocked out. Like, and the Whitebeard pirates on their last legs. And then out of nowhere, Shanks comes in and stops the war. Like you see, like, if you compare this arc, where nothing bad has happened to anyone, like, for example, I think what would have been smart is that someone needs to die. Like, some of the scabbards need to die, I think. I think if a Straw Hat was taken, not killed, but not necessarily killed, but like taken out of the entire fight, I think that would be cool. Maybe, I mean, I don't know, like Tama, like something needs to happen because I don't know what to say anymore. I don't know what to think about this arc because this chapter doesn't help my point. Like, can you sit here and tell me that this arc is good? And if it is good, tell me why as well, because I don't think this arc is anywhere near top 10. And it just feels so easy. And this chapter just solidifies that point even more. And Kaido's going to be the next victim now. And I swear to God, because it's funny, because we're approaching the end of this arc, and we still have not got a Kaido flashback. I don't know. I mean, it's funny because I thought there was going to be an Act 3 and an Act 4 and an Act 5, but apparently not. Apparently Oda doesn't seem to care. Then again, I don't think Oda gives a damn about this arc. I don't think he cares about any of these characters at all. And I feel like I'm saying this because he has screwed up so many characters in this arc. It's not even funny. I'm not talking about the Straw Hats. I'm talking about other characters. I'm not going to talk about everyone now, but I'm going to save that for another video. But I'm not a fan of Big Mom losing. I'm not a fan of the writing inconsistencies in this chapter. I don't know. And I just feel like this arc is too cliche, it's too generic. The only thing that's going to change my mind slightly in this arc is if something bad happens. Something happens that switches the tide of this entire war. But guess what? Everyone is down, and the only person remaining now is Kaido. And Luffy's probably going to win that fight, so yeah. Yeah. Anyway, I'm done. I don't want to keep repeating my points, because I think you get the general gist of how I feel. So anyway, this is Draco Sean. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell me about what you thought about the chapter. Do you agree with me that Big Mom? Do you agree with Big Mom getting taken out? Do you think it was done well? Do you think this arc is boring? Do you think it's cliche? Like, tell me what's going on. So anyway, peace out. Have a good day.